Hello and welcome to the trade skill video for Rift. I did have some trade skill information kind of spread out all over the place, but I wanted to just do a shorter, consolidated video on the trade skills because the other one was just too schizophrenic. It's too all over the place. Alright, with Rift, you can have 3 trade skills at any time. Trade skills, professions, I don't know what they call them. I'm calling them trade skills because that's what they are. Excuse me again. There's 9 total. There's 3 gathering professions, and there are 6 production professions. As far as I can tell, you can the 3 that you can have, you can mix and match. You could go with all 3 gathering professions. You could go with all 3 production professions. I don't think that there's any limitations on that. It didn't appear that way. When you talk to the NPCs, they'll tell you in detail, well, rough detail, what the profession does. And from talking to them, I found out basically what the interdependencies on the trade skills. For example, you probably don't need, logically it doesn't make sense that you would need mining with making cloth armor. So I wanted to run through those real quick. I am obviously going to double up on these, but just because I think it makes, 1, it helps to go over it twice, and 2, just so people will understand it better if you go on both ways. The butcher, basically you harvest material, mostly hides and whatnot, from animals, beasts, things like that. Butcher works well with outfitting, armorsmiths, and apothecaries. Foraging, that's basically like herbalism from WoW, gathering herbs, flowers, whatnot from just the landscape. That pairs best with apothecaries, artificers, and weaponsmiths. Mining, pretty self-evident. There's mine nodes laying about, again, just like in WoW. That one pairs best with armorsmith, artificer, or weaponsmith. Now, those are the gathering professions. The production trade skills, there's apothecary. That is roughly, I mean, that's basically an alchemist. You make potions. I think you can make vials and whatnot as well. That pairs best with foraging and butchering. An artificer. Artificer is kind of like, well, a lot like a jewel crafter from WoW. You, well, actually not really. It's not a really good comparison. But basically, you make rings, necklaces, wands, and staves. That pairs best with mining and foraging. Armorsmiths, they oddly enough make armor. They make chain and they make plate armor though. Just chain and plate as far as I can tell. That pairs best with mining and butchering. Weaponsmith makes all weapons except for wands and staffs. No wands or staffs. It didn't mention bows. I'm gonna assume they make bows, but I did not get confirmation on that. Anyway, that pairs best with mining and foraging. Outfitter. Outfitter, it makes cloth armor and leather armor. That pairs best with just butchering. And the last production trade skill is called runecrafting. Runecrafting is, as far as I can tell, almost exactly the same as enchanting from WoW. Basically, you make enchantment that you can trade with other players, or you can use yourself. That it's like, you know, +2 intelligence to your, you know, chest or hand, things of that nature. I'm assuming it goes beyond that at higher levels, but at low levels it doesn't really tell you anything beyond that. Now, some might look at that and go, well, gee, outfitter doesn't seem like it takes much if it's just butchering. Keep in mind, some trade skill materials don't come from gathering professions. For examples, outfitter requires cloth. Cloth drops from mobs. Again, just like in WoW, you kill mobs, they drop cloth. You use that to make, you know, clothing, bags, whatnot for outfitter. So keep that in mind. So if you're going to play a class that's, you know, not good at killing, or if you don't like to spend a lot of time mindlessly killing mobs, you'd rather just run around doing gathering nodes, you might want to stick with professions that deal with just gathering from actual nodes and not killing mobs at all. I wanted to go ahead and go through a quick production of an item. This is a pretty standard, they went with a pretty standard system for trade skills. Nothing fancy like EverQuest 2 or Star Wars Galaxies, anything like that. Basically, you have, for most trade skills, you had to find a bench of some kind. Like, for example, I have to use, because I went with butchering. Oh god, what's it called? Cloth maker. His name I just forgot. The wow, I can't believe I just forgot that. The outfitter. Wow, and the rune guy, Runecrafter. Wow, my memory is awesome. But so to make leather armor or to make cloth armor or bags or whatever, I need a loom. If you're an apothecary, you would find a laboratory, whatever. Generally, they're going to probably be kind of bunched up like this. You can either right-click the loom, or if you're out and about and you just want to look at your trade skills, you can bring up the UI window by hitting comma. There's probably a window for it somewhere too, but I like the hotkeys. I really like their window here because it's got all of them together. It shows you your current skill level and your current max. Again, like WoW. I keep saying like WoW. It's a little drinking game. Every time I say like WoW, drink. But basically, you trade to a certain point, and you can't get past that until you train again to raise your max again. This tells you everything that you can make. Gray means you have no chance of getting a skill up. Green means you might get one, but probably not. Yellow means there's a pretty good chance you'll get a skill up. Orange means you will definitely get a skill up. At least that's, from my experimentations, that's what it means. And, you know, again, it's just kind of a standard thing. You'll also notice when you select an item, it shows you on the left what you need. It shows me I need 3 soft leather. I've got 97. I need a boulder burlap. I got 4, and I need 1 bone oil, but I don't have any. Bone oil is just something you buy, I believe. You can also click on the arrow, which is nice. This shows that, oh, this is something that you make. So I click on it, and it takes me automatically to butchering, and so now I can make the soft leather if I had the soft hides, but I already did that. So that's really nice. I like that. It saves you a step of having to close the window, reopen another window. It's really nice. I like that. It's a nice little detail. But yeah, it's very easy to switch between the different things that you can make. And as you know, as before, with a lot of other systems, it's a point-based system. You start at a skill of 1. When you make items, you go up skill points. As you get more skill points, you can buy recipes to make better items. I think most people are going to be pretty familiar with a system like that. But let's make some soft leather gloves, just because I've got a higher chance of getting a skill up. But I just choose them. It shows how many I could make in brackets 4. I could choose to craft all. I could just choose to craft, or I can, you know, put in how many I want to make. Also, you'll notice there's an augmentation slot. A planar augment can be added to this recipe. Now, I don't know if players can ever make these, but I've gotten a few just from, I believe, quests and closing rifts, just getting them at random. But basically augments that you can add that will add basically stats to the item. So, for example, this augment I've got that I haven't used yet because dexterity is worthless for me, says grants a slight bonus to dexterity when added to a crafted recipe. So if I put it in there, it actually changes the name to Nimble Soft Leather Glove, which I actually like that. It's a nice bonus. And you'll see that if I take it out, the normal bonus is just a +4 endurance. But if I put it in, now it adds a +1. Obviously not much at this level, but you know, later on, obviously that kind of stuff will be important as you're trying to max out your stats. But at any rate, I'm going to just go ahead and make a regular one right now. It dismounts me. I get a casting bar, and I craft my gloves. And it's got your name on it. It shows that you made it, again, just like with WoW. And you'll also notice it tells you that it's salvageable and runebreak. That's another thing about learning trade skills that I didn't mention. If, for example, since I am a outfitter who again can make cloth and leather items, I can actually salvage armor from cloth and leather items and get items that you would use to make it, like soft leather or cloth or what have you, from these items. So if you've got soulbound items and you're not a runecrafter, you can still kind of disenchant them, so to speak, without selling them. So that's kind of nice. But I am a runebreaker, and I kind of wanted to show you that mechanic. Again, it works just like WoW. I've got it on my hotbar actually. You just choose runebreak, choose your gloves, or whatever you want to runebreak, and it shows you your items. And again, you'll notice the similarities to WoW are pretty hardcore here. You get powders and you get crystals. I'm going to take them, and these things can be combined. So for example, I've got 40 of these uncommon powders. If I right click it, I can actually combine 3 of them to create 1 uncommon shard. And then I can take 3 of these and create 1 uncommon crystal, and so on and so forth. So again, if you've played WoW at all, a lot of the system's mechanics will make a lot of sense to you. And if you've been playing the drinking game, you are probably pretty sloshed right now. At any rate, I believe that's pretty much all the trade skill stuff. I'm sure I'm missing some stuff. Again, I'm still low level. I haven't done a whole lot of research on this. I just kind of wanted to give you guys a newbie's first-hand impression, just what I've picked up from playing it so far. The items that you can make, I mean, so far have not been overly impressive. I've been able to get upgrades from either quests or from PvP purchasable items, things like that. So, so far, okay. The runecrafting so far seems like it's going to be pretty profitable. But again, it's this is totally wild speculation from a level 14 who has maybe 10 hours of playing this game. So take that with a huge grain of salt. But at any rate, I'm sure I forgot something, and if I do, I'll make another video. But otherwise, thanks for watching.